Year 4. So welcome back everybody to lesson 4 of our collage unit. Now actually today we're going to be beginning a new exciting piece of work, and it's going to have collage in it, but it's also going to end up being a mixed media piece. So today we're doing some preparatory work, we're getting ready for it. We're not going to do collaging today. In fact, we need to use some painting skills and some drawing skills. We are going to have so much fun today. Our first step is to create some interesting papers that we're going to use next time. So we need, these are the things we need: oil pastels, or if you don't have oil pastels, wax crayons, normal crayons that you draw with. Okay, now you can get these from Home Bargains or places like that, Hobbycraft, The Works. So if you can, please, some oil pastels, if not crayons. The next thing we need are either drawing inks, which are much harder to come by. So what you are more likely to have at home is maybe a palette of watercolour paints or watercolour inks. If you are able to get hold of some Co-in-Or watercolour inks, they will be super handy. I know you can definitely get them from Amazon. I'll put the name of it up here. Co-in-Or watercolor inks. They are amazing if you want to use those, but any water-based palette will still work for what we're going to do. So basically a paint palette. Obviously you're going to need paper as well, unless we're going to paint on the table. So we need to have, if you had it at home, cartridge paper would be amazing, because we're going to use quite a lot of water. So the thicker the paper, the better. If you have a sketchbook, you could take some pages out of your sketchbook, because you won't be able to turn the pages after you've painted today. It's going to be too messy. So if you were able to take out 3 to 5 pages, or if you have a massive piece of paper, A2, A3, or even A1 size, then you could do a gigantic picture today. Basically, we're going to be making coloured papers, which we're actually going to tear up and use in the collage after this. We're going to tear our artwork up, but that's okay. Now, if you're at school, the papers you make, you will be sharing with the other people in your class, so that you get a great variety of colours and shapes and things to use. If you're at home, you might need to make quite a few bits, or use different colours on different pieces of your paper, so that you have a variety to work with as well. Okay, now talk to someone, or have a little think, and then talk to someone either next to you or someone in the room. What do we already know about the oil in the pastels and the water in the ink, or the water in the watercolours? So on the one hand, we've got oil in the oil pastels, or if you're using crayons, we've got wax in the crayons. And on the other hand, we've got water in the water-based paints that we're going to be using as well. What do we know about those two things? We talked about this in year 3. What do we know about it? Okay, hopefully you've had time either to pause the video and talk to someone, or you've had a little think about it. But the thing that we need to know about this is that the oil, or the wax, resists the water. Just like a duck when he's swimming on the pond, if he gets water on his back, it just rolls off him because of the oil in his feathers. It resists the water. It says, you can't come in the feathers, resists it and pushes it away. And we're going to use this science fact in our art. We are going to use the oil or the wax to resist the water, and that means the marks that we make on our page with the oil or the wax will show through our watery paint. So it's going to create what we call a resist. And a resist is something we use in lots of different types of art. The water-based paint will shrink away from the oil or the wax. We are going to create abstract patterns by letting our imaginations run wild. It is Children's Mental Health Week and we are going to express ourselves today. So let's hear how we're going to do it. We are going to listen to music and draw linear patterns that look like what we think we can hear with our oil pastels or our wax crayons. So we don't need the paints first, we just need our oil pastels or our wax crayons and our paper, and we're going to put on some music. So if you're in year 4 in school, teachers, you need at least 3 different types of music to listen to. Play one at a time, and then children, you need to respond to that by drawing whatever shapes and patterns you think you can hear. If you want to close your eyes and just imagine those shapes, you can't go wrong. Now, when you're drawing them on your page, try to press really hard so that you can really see your patterns. And after a while, you can go back over your lines so they're really strong. You can change colour at any point, so don't all just do it the one colour. Do it as many colours as you like for as long as the music goes on to. If you're at home, just pick whatever music you want to listen to and let your imagination run wild. So you might say this is a waste of time, but I've got a quote for you about wasting time. One of my favourite authors, Michael Riddle, says this: "It's not a waste of time, it's a glorious waste of time. Time bathed in, time squelched through the fingers, time burrowed in and frolicked in." That's what we're going to do. We are going to squelch this time through our fingers. We are going to have fun. We are going to express ourselves in any way that we want to. Okay, so that's step 1. Let's have a go. I'll show you what I'm doing. It'll be speeded up though, and you need to play your own music and draw what you feel.
I know we only got one life to live. Every second on the clock is it. Everybody gotta stop the talk ticking. Turn up, turn up, turn up, we still got the music loud. The only way we're gonna get through it. So don't nobody go stop the rock hitting.
Okay, now that we've drawn our inspirational patterns that we felt inspired to draw by the music, now it's time to get out our inks or our water-based paints. Now, this is where it's going to get messy. We are going to make a glorious mess today. So if you are at home, please make sure, mums and dads, that you have covered up the table with a plastic cloth and maybe some newspaper or something on the table as well. Just keep an eye on the floor in case any drips on the floor. We need to have a wide brush. We need a pot of water because we're going to use lots of water. That's the thing that we need to remember when using inks or watercolour paints. Lots and lots of water. Water is the key. Water is definitely the key. So we are going to need a place as well to put each piece of paper after it's finished. And these bits of paper are going to be messy. So if there is a sort of pathway you need to walk from the table where you're painting to where you're going to put it, that pathway also needs to be protected on the floor because you might dribble some of your inks or paints onto the floor. If it's in the kitchen, it might not be so bad, but if it's on carpet, we have a problem. So let's make sure we're not going to get it all over the table and we're not going to get it all over the floor. When you have finished your 4 or 5 pieces of paper or your one gigantic piece of paper, you need to be able to store it flat somewhere where no one's going to tip it or no one's going to touch it, and just let it dry. Let the colours merge while it's drying, and it will make a beautiful piece of art. Okay, this is random though, and also you cannot go wrong with it. So have a look at the way I'm doing it so you know exactly what I mean. It's time to express yourself.